Argenta-Oreana High School, Thursday, January 22nd from 9 till 10 a.m. To find out all of the happenings at Argenta-Oreana High School. Brought to you by Screen This, with screen printing and embroidery, located at 285 North Kenwood Street in Argenta, and Gerber State Bank in Argenta and Oreana and surrounding areas, building relationships and communities together. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
From the Hart Media Group newsroom and DeWittDailyNews.com, I'm Ben Hubbard with this expanded morning newscast. Good morning and thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Ben Hubbard. The news is brought to you by Baum Chevy Buick in Clinton, your Silverado headquarters, as well as Connexus, offering fiber internet in Clinton. Click their icon on DeWittDailyNews.com to find out more. The transition from middle school to high school can be a scary one, but Clinton High School is doing its best to make it a little easier. Principal Jerry Wayne told the Hart Media Group on the WHOW High School Road Tour that supporting students is an everyday job when you work in education. One upcoming event in this effort is freshman orientation on February 3rd at 6 p.m.
It is. I think the weird part for me, especially, and I know I've been doing this for a while now, but is how quickly I have to transition from the year that we're currently in to start thinking about what that next year is going to end up looking like. So, we hit January, and the reality of it is my mind starts shifting to the 26-27 school year. Not that I'm ignoring 25-26, but if I don't prepare and we don't put in the time to prepare now, then 26-27 can't be as successful as it is. And so we're really starting to ramp a little bit of that up. It starts with my student services, who do a great job of really trying to communicate with kids and letting our freshmen, sophomores, and juniors start planning of what classes do they think they're going to want to take so that it can match what their goals are when they leave high school. But then we also have to make sure that we're preparing, as we talked about the freshmen from as far as that transition that happens. We got to start preparing our eighth graders that are over there this year, that coming over here for their freshman year next year.
The school is inviting incoming freshmen and their families to come in to get comfortable with the building's layout, find their lockers, and learn about the expectations of being a high schooler.
So we do have freshman orientation that's going to be on February 3rd at 6 p.m. We'd like to have as many freshman students and parents to come out here. We have NHS out here to help kind of show them the lay of the land of the building. We have a little bit of conversation with everybody in the auditorium to make sure that we give them some insight, have some kids talk with them about their experiences in high school. I think it's a really important day because there's not a lot of pressure for those kids when they come over here to be able to get a feel for what that new building is. Because as you mentioned before, it is a transition. It is something new, and it's a lot of times will create some anxiety, and it's a low risk night for people to be able to come. So we're hopeful that everybody can come and be able to take advantage of that opportunity. I know it doesn't always get to work. Sometimes athletics are going to get in the way, and we can't get around all of that, but certainly want to encourage everybody to do that.
McKagan Morgan is the vice president of Key Club at Clinton, and explains that among other service opportunities they host, they assist with putting freshman orientation together.
Well, our first meeting, we are primarily talking about freshman orientation. That happens on February 3rd, and it is kind of put together by NHS. We will have, I think, 5 groups of our students that will lead the incoming freshmen around different rooms of the school, like the English department and the math department, science, and then even some of our, it's like band, they're like shop and facts, stuff like that.
Sure.
And so, as well as our leaders, we also have about 2 students in each of those rooms to help teach students about what those classes are like. So it's really nice for those incoming freshmen to see current students talk about like what's going to happen, what it's like, and even like give them some tips about how to navigate some of the classes.
Again, Clinton High School freshman orientation is for incoming students and their families and takes place on February 3rd at 6 p.m. Coming up shortly on this expanded newscast, Central Illinois CEO recruiting for 26-27 school year. A magnitude 3.8 earthquake rattled central Illinois Tuesday morning, centered near Ullman in Christian County, according to the U.S. Geological Survey. The quake occurred at approximately 1:27 a.m. Central Time and was recorded at a shallow depth of about 8.8 kilometers or 5.5 miles below the surface, a factor that likely made it more noticeable to residents in the surrounding communities. Reports from the USGS's Did You Feel It system indicate that the shaking was felt not just in nearby towns, but across a broad swath of central Illinois and beyond. Residents in Springfield, Taylorville, Decatur, Peoria, and even as far as Quincy and Terre Haute, Indiana, reported feeling the ground move. A 3.8 magnitude earthquake feels like a noticeable, often startling jolt or rumble that might be mistaken for a passing truck, minor explosion, or heavy impact, causing light shaking, rattling objects, and sometimes waking people up, though it's usually too weak to cause significant damage. Many people were awakened by the shaking. Social media posts described short but noticeable tremors from swinging ceiling fans to rumbling walls as far away as Decatur and Champaign. So far, there are no reports of damage or injuries, and emergency officials have not issued any warnings or alerts related to the quake. Illinois' strongest recorded earthquakes have included a magnitude 5.4 near Mount Carmel in 2008 and a magnitude 5.3 in 1968, both centered in southern parts of the state. According to seismologists, earthquakes of this size are generally considered minor and rarely cause damage, but they can still be felt across a large area, especially when shallow. Officials remind residents that Illinois does have seismic risk, and preparedness, such as knowing how to drop, cover, and hold on during shaking, is a good idea for all communities, even those that don't see frequent earthquakes. A local entrepreneurship program is recruiting its next batch of students for the school year 2026-27. Melanie Brown is the facilitator for the Central Illinois CEO program that brings in students from Blue Ridge, Clinton, Maroa Forsyth, and Warrensburg-Latham high schools. She indicates recruitment is underway for next year's group of students.
So the students launched recruitment yesterday, which was a fun day. We started at Warrensburg-Latham High School and presented to the sophomore and junior classes, and then progressed to Clinton and spent a couple hours there. And then we finished our day at Maroa Forsyth. We did our recruiting at Blue Ridge High School back in October. Applications are open now, and they close on February 24th. So students who are interested, you must be a junior or a senior from one of those 4 high schools, and go to our website, centralillinoisceo.com, and put, I want to apply. And then from there, you have to write a letter of intent. You will have to have parent and school approval as well as 2 references. But yes, we start our application process now. It is a blind application process, and a CEO board is in charge of filtering through those applications and selecting up to 20 students who are going to represent CEO well.
Brown emphasizes the program is not necessarily for students with the highest grade point averages or those students who are headed to 4-year universities. She is hoping students who want to learn and grow will consider the program.
I want students who are curious to learn. I want students who want to come in and do something to challenge themselves and better themselves. I'm not looking for, the valedictorian or just the student who wants to go into the world of business. I think it's really cool when we have students come in and they say, I don't know what I want to do after high school. You're going to get the opportunity to visit more than 50 different career paths and industries and businesses within the area. And that will help you to say, hey, could I see myself doing that later on? What are they doing that I'm interested in? And what does that look like? What path would I need to take? So hardworking, trustworthy, dedicated students that want to do something different.
Students can also attend an Experience CEO Day, where students get the chance to be a part of a classroom day with the current CEO students. Brown notes the classroom day for the CEO program isn't your traditional classroom day.
One of the best ways for students to see if CEO is right for them is to come and attend class.
Mhm.
So we offer Experience CEO Days. We have one next Thursday. So it is January 22nd. It's at the Vault in Clinton, and it's normal class time. So the students need to sign up for that. Again, they can go to our Instagram or Facebook page. Also, just go to your principal, your guidance counselor, and ask them, hey, I want to go check this out and attend. You're still expected to get yourself there. And the class is from 7:30 to 9. You have to dress professional, just like all of the other students do. And then you get to sit in on the visit with the CEO of the vault and touring the facility and hearing the history and then asking questions about their business model and what makes it work. Why is it valuable? Why do they do what they do? So that's the first one. And then the second one is in February. And I believe it is Friday, I think it's the 20th. That's
Sure.
a classroom day. And the good thing about that is that when you say classroom, most kids think it's traditional classroom, but it's nothing like that.
Brown calls the program a safe place to fail. Students establish a class business in the first semester and an individual business in the second semester. She points out there are a multitude of lessons they learn along the way.
A lot of the students, now that we are in our 7th year,
Mhm.
know quite a bit about the program before they sign up or before they apply. So there is that application process. And the CEO board goes through a blind application process so they can sift through those students who are hardworking, motivated, and trustworthy. And those are the types of students that we're looking for. We aren't looking for just that straight A student. So once they get into the program, we do have an orientation with the parents and we let them know, like, this is a safe place to fail. This isn't your normal class where you're going to get, this is the assignment, here's exactly how to do it, here's when it's done, this is the perfect rubric. This is more of a, here's a project, and as a group, you're going to figure this out. And again, I am going to be there to make sure you don't fail. But if we stumble and fall, we're going to learn from that. We're going to pick ourselves up and we're going to continue going. So we set the stage with that. And then at the beginning of the year, these students are from 4 different school districts. They come together not knowing each other, which is actually a great benefit because no one knows who is on Scholastic Bowl, who's the class president, who's the athlete or not. And they start to get to know each other and their strengths and what they can bring to the table. We start with soft skills in that first quarter of public speaking, shaking hands, professional dress, those basic things to help set them apart from their peers. And then we get into the group business aspect. Group business is project 1. And our goal for that is that our goal for the entire class is that they're learning and growing. I want to see kids come into CEO curious to learn. You visit the high schools and a lot of the kids just walk from class to class thinking that this is dreadful. And if we can change our mindset, which they have total control over, to be curious about learning versus this is my have to. This is our get to. We are really lucky that we get an opportunity to learn. So the students that come into this class, it is their get to. It is an honor to be a part of this program. And so they've got to show up curious every day. They've got to show up ready, just like they would for a job. And they're going to get out of it what they put into it.
There is still plenty of time for students who will be entering either their junior or senior years of high school to join the CEO program. Visit centralillinoisceo.com for all the information or find them on Facebook and Instagram. You're listening to the WHOW Morning Show. Let's take a quick break with a word from our sponsors.
Experience the power of better connection with Connexus Fiber Internet. Connexus delivers ultra-fast, reliable speeds to keep you connected at the speed of life. Whether you're working from home, streaming your favorite shows, or gaming with your friends, Connexus has you covered. Say goodbye to buffering and dropped calls and say hello to fiber fast internet. Ready to upgrade your connection? Sign up today by clicking the Connexus icon at DeWittDailyNews.com. Nothing connects us like Connexus.
Happy New Year from all of us here at Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton and Farmer City. This is Scott Baum. Most of our customers trade for a different SUV or truck because their needs change each year. That's good because we have transportation options for you. Plus, we need your trade. Our selection of top quality, pre-owned trades come from you. Come see our ever-changing Chevrolet and Buick inventory today. Chevrolet, together, let's drive. BaumChevyBuick.com, right from the start.
News time is 25 minutes after the top of the hour. You are listening to the WHOW Morning Show. The University of Illinois Extension is hosting an annual must-attend event for producers in Central Illinois. On the WHOW Morning Show Tuesday, Extension Director Terry Casey told the Hart Media Group the Dudley Smith Farm Winter Meeting comes around again on February 10th from 9 a.m. to noon. Participants can learn about cattle farming and soil health.
Well, actually, we have an event that's coming up, and it's just to the unit to the east of us and south in Christian County in Taylorville, and it's the Dudley Smith Farm Winter Meeting. And so that's taking place February 10th from 9 a.m. to noon. And they do it every year. It's always a very exciting and worthwhile event. It's really looking at cattle production, cattle profitability, cattle market outlooks, also the research that's being done at the Dudley Smith Research Farm there in Christian County. And then there's going to be a soil health producer panel to learn more about soil health. So every year, this is a really great meeting and program.
The Dudley Smith Farm Winter Meeting will feature expert speakers from the University of Illinois Extension and beyond, who will be providing information on a variety of agriculture topics.
Yeah, so basically, Steve Mateer, he'll be our moderator. He's with the University of Extension and specializes in livestock. And then some commercial ag educators from across the university system. And then usually they all call upon some local folks, local expertise to come in and talk about their experiences as well. And then do kind of a question and answer. Feed them and they will come. Yeah, and that's always one of the best parts is the lunch. Not that I don't want to learn, but the lunch is one where you can unwind and really talk to folks. I think we learned from our experiences with not being with people for a while that there is something to be said for just sharing a meal and having that communal time with other folks in the industry. And I always find that some of the best discussions come from those meals.
This is an event that is looked forward to by many. Casey indicates that it is a great opportunity to find crucial information for your operation while simultaneously serving as a home for networking and fellowship between cattle producers and ranchers.
Yes. And anytime I can, I travel to the adjoining unit and participate as well, because you always pick up a lot of great information. And it's a great opportunity for those involved with cattle and ranchers to get together and to meet, learn information, and compare notes. Well, there are many research farms.
Yeah.
In fact, we have in my unit, we have the Hartsburg farm, which we're using for row crop research. But yeah, there are many, and those were usually established because somebody saw a need for education, and they wanted to continue to provide an opportunity for research out in the communities, and they have bequested those to Extension and the university to be used for research purposes. And that's certainly the history with the Dudley Smith farm. So not only is there cattle research going on there, but there's also soil nutrient. Lots and lots of different research has come from the Dudley Smith farm. So it's really, truly a treasure.
Sure. Learn more about the February 10th Dudley Smith Farm Winter Meeting by visiting extension.illinois.edu/LMS. Now for your local obituaries. Kathy Schneep, 61, of Forsyth, Illinois, passed away at 3:11 p.m. January 20th at her home in Forsyth. Calvert Funeral Home in Clinton is in charge of arrangements. Online condolences may be made at calvertmemorial.com. Carol Jean Stephenson, 86, of Clinton, passed away at 8:55 p.m. January 18th at her family residence in Clinton. Services will be 11 a.m. Friday, January 23rd at the Calvert Funeral Home in Clinton, with Pastor Mike Baker officiating. Burial will follow at Oak Park Cemetery in Clinton. Visitation will be 9 to 11 a.m. Friday at the funeral home. Memorials may be directed to a charity of the donor's choice. Get news anytime from your computer or your mobile device at DeWitt County's #1 source for news, sports, police blotter, obituaries, and more. It's DeWittDailyNews.com. Network news is now.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. Amid the gloom and doom predictions for NATO in the midst of the Greenland controversy, President Trump has arrived this morning at the World Economic Forum in Switzerland, voicing confidence it all will work out. The president's arrival at the summit was delayed by a few hours. A minor electrical issue aboard Air Force One forced a return to Joint Base Andrews. The president then got on board a replacement aircraft and took off. From the Great Lakes to the Northeast and the Mid-Atlantic, some points south, the weather looks a bit dicey into the coming weekend. Arctic air and a lot of snow are in the forecast. Federal prosecutors have reportedly served a half-dozen grand jury subpoenas to Minnesota officials, including Governor Tim Walz, part of an investigation into whether they have obstructed or impeded the enforcement of federal immigration law. The Dow futures down 46 points. More details at srnnews.com.
The Life Application Study Bible moves you beyond knowing the Bible to living it out. Each of the over 10,000 notes and resources were poured over by scholars and pastors, allowing you to confidently take a deep dive into history, culture, and Christian beliefs. But what sets this Bible apart is how it guides you to apply these insights to your daily life, transforming understanding into truth lived out. Learn more at lifeapplication.com.
With Progressive's Name Your Price tool, you can choose the best coverage option for you. Because you know you. Like, you know that hiking isn't for you. Sure, it sounds nice to be in nature while exercising, but that's what a gym and houseplants are for. I mean, you don't even like walking upstairs. So why would you walk up a hill for miles? To what, end up high in the air? Come on, you know you're scared of heights. Only you know you. So get coverage options within your budget with Progressive's Name Your Price tool. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
From the Hart Media Group Sports Desk, IL Sports Wire, and DeWittDailyNews.com, I'm Ben Hubbard with this local sports report. In a game heard on WEZC and online at DeWittDailyNews.com, IVC overcame a 14-point deficit and rallied to beat Monticello 59-56 in Illini Prairie Conference high school basketball action Tuesday at the Seaver Center in Monticello. The Sages went cold in the second half, shooting just 5 of 22 from the floor and missing all 5 of its three-point attempts. The Gray Ghosts dominated on the glass, out-rebounding Monticello 42-23. 4 players scored in double figures for IVC, led by Grady Reed's 13 points. Braden Pfeiffer scored 10 of his 12 points in the third quarter, while Keegan Scholl finished with 10, and Brady Ward had 10 points with a team-best 8 rebounds. Matthias Rudolph scored 8 of his 14 points in the first quarter for Monticello. Aiden McCool scored 12 points, and Jake Motzgood had 10 points. Motzgood was the State Bank of Bement Player of the Game. Nolan Benny-Kemper finished with 7 points and a game-high 9 rebounds. The Sages host St. Joseph Ogden on Friday. Hear the action on 95.9 FM WEZC and online at DeWittDailyNews.com. The Argenta-Oreana Bombers were outpaced in every quarter and fell to the Unity Christian Lions by a final score of 108-54 in Lincoln Prairie Conference High School boys basketball action on Tuesday night in Decatur. The Lions led 22-11 after the first quarter and pushed their lead to 55-22 by halftime. The score was 90-39 entering the final frame. The Bombers were led by Isaiah Parks, who scored 19 points. Jackson Finch had 16, while Carter Logue added 8. Dylan Clark was unstoppable, scoring 40 points for Unity Christian. Noah Clark added 16 points, while Monty Wilson had 12. Quaden Bonds had 11 points, and Kobe St. James contributed 10. With the loss, Argenta-Oreana falls to 7-12 and 3-3 in the Lincoln Prairie. Unity Christian improves to 18-3 and 5-0 in conference play. The Bombers will play in the Lincoln Prairie Conference Tournament beginning on Friday. This year's tournament is hosted by Blue Ridge. Kobe White scored 27 points and hit 6 of Chicago's franchise record-tying 25 three-pointers, and the hot-shooting Chicago Bulls beat the surging Los Angeles Clippers 138-110 on Tuesday night. White had the touch again after hitting a season-high 7 threes in Sunday's blowout win over Brooklyn, and the Bulls made 25 of 47 from beyond the arc. Mattis Buzelis added 21 points, Ayo Dosunmu scored 18, and Kevin Huerter scored 14. All three players made 4 threes. Nikola Vucevic added 19 points and 8 rebounds, and the Bulls had their way with a team that came in rolling. The Clippers had won 6 straight and 13 of 15 since a 6-21 to start. Chicago led by 21 points at the half after matching a season high with 45 points in the second quarter and broke the game open after Los Angeles made a run in the third. James Harden led Los Angeles with 24 points. John Collins scored 23 and matched a season high with 5 3-pointers. Kawhi Leonard missed his third straight game. The 6-time All-Star has been dealing with a sprained right ankle and bruised left knee. The Bulls led 70-49 at halftime after dominating Los Angeles 45-19 in the second period. They trailed by 37-36 when Vucevic made a hook shot to spark a 22-6 run. Dosunmu finished it with a pair of threes, bumping the lead to 58-43 with 3 minutes and 20 seconds remaining. The Clippers pulled within 80-74 midway through the third after Collins hit a three, but the Bulls quickly regained control. Trey Jones made a floater for Chicago to start a 17-3 run, capped by a fast break layup by Huerter that made it 97-77. The Clippers host the Lakers on Thursday. The Bulls visit Minnesota on Thursday. Mark Scheifele had 2 goals and an assist to lead the Winnipeg Jets to a 3-1 victory over the St. Louis Blues on Tuesday night. Josh Morrissey added a goal and 2 assists as Winnipeg scored 3 goals on 16 shots. Eric Comrie made 22 saves for Winnipeg, who goes to 20-23-6, which won for the 5th time in 7 games. Jordan Kyrou scored for St. Louis, and Joel Hofer stopped 13 of 15 shots for St. Louis, who falls to 19-23-8 and lost its second straight and for the 5th time in 7 games. The Jets took advantage of a 4-minute high-sticking penalty for the Blues' Nathan Walker, who clipped Winnipeg defenseman Isaac Phillips, scoring twice in a minute 33 span midway through the first period. First, Morrissey beat Hofer on a slap shot from the blue line with Scheifele and Kyle Connor assisting at 9 minutes and 52 seconds. Then Scheifele lifted the puck over Hofer from close range with Morrissey getting an assist at 11 minutes and 25 seconds. The Blues had pulled within 2-1 late in the second with Vladislav Nemestchenko serving a 4-minute minor for high-sticking Jonathan Berggren. Kyrou scored past Comrie. Scheifele put the game away with an empty net goal with 2 minutes and 23 seconds left. Nino Niederreiter saved a goal with about 6 minutes left in the first after a shot by Cam Fowler trickled through Comrie. Niederreiter swept the puck off the goal line. The Blues are at Dallas on Friday night, while the Jets host Florida on Thursday night. Taking a look at scores from throughout the NCAA last night, number 3 Michigan took down Indiana 86-72, while number 16 Florida beat Louisiana State 79-61. Miami at Ohio, who's ranked 25th, beat Kent State 107-101, while the unranked North Carolina State beat 18th ranked Clemson 80-76. 24th ranked St. Louis beat Duquesne 81-77, while number 9 ranked Iowa State took down UCF 87-57. 10th ranked Michigan State beat Oregon 68-52, while 12th ranked Texas Tech beat Baylor 92-73. Mizzou fell to 21, UGA 74-72, and number 20 Arkansas beats number 15 Vanderbilt 93-68. UCLA took down number 4 Purdue 69-67, and number 19 Kansas beat Colorado 75-69. In NBA action last night, the Phoenix Suns beat the Philadelphia 76ers 116-110, while the Houston Rockets handled the San Antonio Spurs 111-106. The Utah Jazz beat the Minnesota Timberwolves 127-122, while the LA Lakers took down the Denver Nuggets 115-107. The Miami Heat beat the Sacramento Kings 130-117, while Golden State fell to the Toronto Raptors 145-127. In the NHL last night, the Montreal Canadiens took down the Minnesota Wild 43-30. The Ottawa Senators beat the Columbus Blue Jackets 4-1. With the same score, the Tampa Bay Lightning beat the San Jose Sharks 4-1. The Dallas Stars took down the Boston Bruins 6-2, while the Buffalo Sabres beat the Nashville Predators 5-3. The New Jersey Devils took down the Edmonton Oilers 2-1, and the LA Kings beat the New York Rangers 4-3. Get highlights of your local high school programs by finding IL SportsWire on your preferred social media platforms, and get local sports anytime at DeWittDailyNews.com.
This is staff meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki with your regional radio forecast. An extreme cold watch begins at 3 a.m. Friday morning and continues until noon Friday. Lots of sunshine today with daytime highs approaching 38. Southwesterly winds 10 to 20 miles per hour. Lows dip down to about 18. Tonight, mainly clear skies. Hear weather twice an hour or online anytime at DeWittDailyNews.com. Currently, it's 34 degrees.
Let's check Ag News on the RFD Radio Network. I'm DeLawes Yonke. Winter weather, certainly in parts of northern Illinois. The National Weather Service in Chicago released a winter weather advisory last night into this morning, suggesting 2 to 4 inches of snow and difficult travel conditions were expected overnight and this morning. Later this week and into the weekend, there are concerns about cold temperatures and elevated to significant excessive cold risk, according to the Weather Service. By Thursday, the overnight low is expected to be in negative territory. In Chicago Friday, the high temperature is only expected to hit 1. And then a second night, Friday night, with temperatures once again below 0. And that goes much farther than Chicago. National Weather Service in Lincoln is also forecasting a couple of consecutive nights tomorrow and Friday night, with the overnight low at less than 0 with strong north and northwest winds, at times gusting more than 20 miles an hour. Stay tuned to local forecasts for updated information and take necessary precautions with this cold stretch upcoming. Meanwhile, in Christian County, there was a 3.8 magnitude earthquake felt yesterday morning. There were no reports of damage, although the shaking traveled far enough for people across the St. Louis metro area to notice something. The impact was near Nokomis and Pana, about 35 miles southeast of Springfield. About 2,000 people responded to the U.S. Geological Survey's Did You Feel It data directly after the event, said, in fact, they did feel the effects. Now to Washington, and the latest beef and pork forecasts are a bright spot in an otherwise gloomy ag picture this year, as our Washington correspondent Matt Kay reports.
The crop outlook remains grim, but not so for cattle and hogs. World Ag Outlook Board Chair Mark Jekanowski on USDA's January outlook for beef production and steer prices.
For 2026, we raised our beef production forecast by 10 million pounds. But still, it's tight supplies that are kind of dominating the market. Beef production expected to be down 260 million pounds, which is providing some support. Cattle and beef prices.
With an increase in prices.
We raised our steer price forecast for 2026 by 75 cents per hundredweight, now at $235.75 per hundredweight. That would be up $11.38 from last year.
Strong demand is also supporting hog and pork prices in the face of expected increased production.
If realized, pork production this year will be up about 640 million pounds from last year. I think it's important to point out that despite those higher supplies, prices are holding up.
With the Outlook Board holding hog prices steady at $66.75 per hundredweight. For the RFD Radio Network, Matt Kay, Washington.
Natural gas prices have moved sharply higher lately, up 85 cents in the highest level in 3 weeks. Europe has been experiencing a very quick drawdown of their
The Illinois Emergency Management Agency has designated WHOW's many platforms on AM and FM, as well as WEZC 95.9 FM, as standby radio stations for emergency messages to be sent for severe weather, as well as for the Clinton Power Station. We also have a direct link to the National Weather Service for watches or warnings to air immediately when they're issued. Keep yourself and your family safe by tuning into the WHOW platforms on AM, FM, or streamed online, as well as on WEZC 95.9 FM.
If the flu's got you down, the Warner Hospital and Health Services Walk-In Clinic can help you feel better fast. CEO Paul Skowron inviting you to make us your backup plan to better health. Find out more by clicking our icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
DeWittDailyNews.com is the area's leading local news source 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Get the latest local news, obituaries, police splatter, weather forecast, and more with no paywall. Head to DeWittDailyNews.com to get the local information you need to know.
With the RFD Ag Market Summary for this Wednesday morning, I'm Jim Taylor. Corn steady, beans lower, wheat finishing Tuesday lower. March corn closing 423 3/4, down a penny. May corn down 3/4, 431 1/4. December new crop 450 1/2, up 3/4. March beans finishing 1053, down 4 3/4. May beans down 4 3/4, 1064. And November new crop, 1064, down a nickel. March wheat closing 510 1/4, down 7 3/4. May wheat down 7, 521 3/4. And July wheat 534, down 6 1/2. March bean meal 291.60, up $1.60. And March bean oil on Tuesday 52.56, down a nickel. Current electronic overnight trading: March corn up 1 3/4, May corn up 1 3/4, December new crop 451 3/4, up 1 1/4. March beans in the overnight up 7 3/4, May beans up 6 3/4, November new crop 1069 1/2, up 5 1/2. March wheat in the overnight up a penny, May wheat up 1, and July wheat 535 1/4, up 1 1/4. Outside markets: March Brent crude oil on Tuesday up 79 cents, 64.92. The February gold contract up 108.70 this morning, 48.74.50. Livestock trade from Tuesday: January feeders 362.62, up 70 cents. March feeder cattle up $1.22, 350.
This is early morning weather report for Wednesday from meteorologist Paul Otto for listeners on the RFD Radio Network. Compared to where we've been over the last week, this morning sure feels like spring, although a fall spring. And enjoy it for now, as later this week we will return to those 25 to 30 below zero wind chills over northern portions of the state. Teens below zero for wind chills as far south as I-64. And it looks like even wind chills down around 0 to 5 below for parts of southeast Illinois along the Ohio River. Although this time around, the surface temperatures will actually be colder, but because the wind's being a little bit lighter, the equation all adds up to about the same effect on the skin as we get into Friday and even Saturday of this week. Beginning overnight, we had the start to a 24 to 36 hour break from the chill as the north-northwesterly flow has relaxed some, and as a system rides through southern Illinois from west to east. And still some lingering snow showers, though, from the polar jet coming through the northern parts of the state. Our fall spring does end as of tomorrow night, as the start to our coldest stretch of winter so far will begin for the northern half of the state, while the southern half will join the club as well on Friday morning, as the polar air easily completes the trek across the state with a monster Arctic high pressure system reducing the winds as we near the weekend. Winter storm watches will likely be posted for Saturday afternoon through Saturday night for about 3 to 5 inches of snow for areas along and south of I-72, with the heaviest snow occurring along the Ohio River. And a second batch of Arctic cold then funnels in behind the swath of snow to end the weekend and to start next week. Mid-range forecast period for the 27th through the last day of January, well below normal air will start the period, and we won't have a chance to return to normal for the entire period. This has been Freeze Notice. Meteorologist Paul Otto for the RFD Radio Network.
Hey, it's Shane from Highway 51 Exchange, your mower and equipment service pros just south of Clinton. Click our banner ad on DeWittDailyNews.com or give us a call to schedule your free pickup and delivery today. Highway 51 Exchange.